Hello and welcome to Jennifer Knatters. I am Jennifer and this is my video podcast where I natter on about my crafting, mostly knitting, and whatever else I've been up to in the last wee while. It has been a wee while since my last podcast. I apologize. Life just got to be a bit. I am still working on looking at the camera and not at my reflection. So if I get it wrong, I'm sorry. I am trying. I have a little teddy bear sticker that I'm supposed to look at instead of looking at myself. Although I will say it makes this whole thing a lot weirder. Looking at myself gave a strong talking to another person vibe that was really working for me. If you're a new friend, welcome. If you're a returning friend, welcome back. Delighted to have you here. Hope you enjoy it. It has been a while. It was summer holidays and I thought when summer holidays were over, I could at least record a video, but then when Scotland went beyond zero, my mother flew out from California to visit for 2 weeks, so I didn't have the house to myself then either. So it has been over a month. It was, my last one I think was early July, and now it is September. Today is September 1st. Excuse me. Today is Thursday, the 1st of September. And as you can see, it has turned into a gloriously lovely sunny day here for the first day of autumn in Scotland. I actually went past a Starbucks today and I thought, hey, I wonder if I can get a pumpkin spice steamed milk. I don't drink coffee, but I do like pumpkin spice. They start serving them tomorrow. I will not be going past a Starbucks tomorrow. This is Earl Grey. It is my default drink of choice, although over the summer I drink water with a tiny bit of like fake flavor spritzed into it just to make it a tiny bit different than straight water. Oh, sorry about the clink. I have a couple finished objects today. I think I'm going to keep with the format I've been doing for a while, which is more thematic rather than finished objects, whips, cast on, stuff like that. So my first finished object, which is not the best, I could do better if I had a better headspace, is this wee owl. And it's got little eyes, but they are hard to see because, as I said, I did not do great. I need to make the eyes bigger. But this little wee owl, I wonder why you can see the light through its wing. Ta-da! This little wee owl is a new pattern by Hunter Hammersen that came out a week or two ago. I test knit it. It is not difficult, though there are a few little things that you kind of just have to trust. I mean, Hunter is so clever. You basically just have to trust that she knows what she's doing, and she does, and follow the instructions. They're always really clear instructions with lots of pictures. There's like always a full photo tutorial section. The instructions are written out, and then there's a photo tutorial section, and then there's the charts. It is charted. This is a double stitched front. I was using thicker fabric for this, or thicker yarn for this than suggested in the pattern, which I think is part of why it looks so uneven. But you can see where I was working my way down, it looks so much better than when I was working my way up. This is washed and blocked. I mean, I did, but it is a learning experience. It is a first owl, and I have small children, so it is not going to have a gentle life either way. But yes, this is Hoot the owl. I knit this in some Stash West Yorkshire Spinners Aire DK, which has been discontinued. I just have a ball in several colors. So that is Hoot the owl. She can sit over here next to the gnome. And this is how far I've gotten in the next test knit for her, which is going to look a bit like Hoot, but it's going to be a fox. That's it. This little spaghetti of yarn, because I've started it a couple of times and I've ripped it out a couple of times. It starts the same way as Hoot does. I mean, it's the same basic shape, and then it's just details to make it, you know, color and different duplicate stitching, and then a tail instead of wings, like stuff like that. It is the same thing, just modified to be a fox. And I've already basically knit the pattern once. My brain and my hands are not working together. I've started it a couple times and I've had to rip it out a couple times because at some point I looked down and went, hands, what are you doing? That is not what the pattern said to do. Or I've looked down and thought, is that what the pattern said to do? I don't know where I am. How I can't figure out where I am, so I'm just going to pull it out and restart. So that is the sad tale of the fox test knit pandemic brain. I thought when the kids went back to school that I would be better equipped to do things, but having my mother suddenly come to visit apparently put me back into pandemic brain. I did not have a good brain for knitting owls, and apparently I do not have a good brain for knitting a fox. But it's a really cute fox, and the pattern will be out soon, and it'll be adorable. And Hunter has hinted at like penguins and other animals too, so I'm very excited. I'm now looking, instead of looking at the camera, I am looking at the owl in the reflection. I apologize. I've been doing this for 3-4 years. Oh gosh, I don't even know now. I've been doing this for a while. This is episode 68, but they don't always come out very regularly. I've been doing this for a while, and apparently I can't even look at the camera. I'm sorry. That'll be my neighbors taking their bins in. I've got the window open because it's a lovely day, and also because I'd be happy if a cat came in and sat with me. But it does mean it is a bit noisier. On to stripy socks. I've been doing a year-long, it's every month, stripy sock knit along, and these are my July socks. This is Bumbling Yarns, which is Laura the Lonely Knitter here on YouTube. She's also got Crafter's Balm, which I believe is the website for Bumbling Yarns. And this was February's 2-color stripy yarn club color. And I've got the contrast for the cuffs. And it is this delightful purples and pinks, and then a cream shade. I think I showed one of these in my last podcast, but I do have both socks done now. I did a heel flap, and then it was in the purple when I started doing the gusset decreases. So when I hit the white again, I just pulled it out and kept going with the purple. And then I don't actually know which sock is which, so I'm just picking a random sock. And then when I got to the toe and it was just into the white, when I started the second sock, I used the white that I pulled out for the heel gussets to give me my white stripe here at the top. And then I did the same thing here, and now I've just got a small section of white yarn, but it has worked out really, really well. I did not weigh these. I do not know how much I have left, but I do have some left. They are really soft. I did wear them once. I couldn't resist. I know everybody's like, oh, I kept them pristine to show you. I love y'all, but these are brand new socks. The only thing that kept them from being worn a lot really is that it was hot, because it was, I'm gonna use some air quotes here, it was summer. It was actually really nice most of the summer. It really was. I showed my love note that I finished last time. I've worn that a fair amount because it's just kind of the right level. A boxy, floaty, 3/4 length sleeves. So when it's just a tiny bit chilly, it's worked really well as something to just throw on. But yeah, these were my July socks. They were on sock blockers most of the time since I finished them. And I've tried to be really good and not wear them so I could show them to you, but I did have to wear them once because they are new socks and I love them. And on the strength of how much I love these, I bought more yarn that looked really similar on the website, but when you actually see the yarn in person, it is quite different. And I finished another pair of socks. These are my August stripy socks. The knit along, if you haven't seen this before, if you were not familiar, if you were not following Sharon of the SCR1 TNO Knitting Podcast. She is hosting a knit along for the whole year. You knit a pair of stripy socks, and anyone's entered that month get a drawing. There are selected dyers and commercial brands that are highlighted each month. If you knit one of those, you get a double entry. So these were a double entry because they were Bumbling Yarns in the Bumbling Yarn month. These are a single entry because they are Fab Funky Fibres, who was one of the dyers, but I think it was April or something like that. I did not yet have any Fab Funky Fibres yarn. I acquired this over the summer and had to knit it up almost straight away. This is the colorway. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I will put it down below with a link to the shop. Fab Funky Fibres does not ship to the EU, but Arnold Color for Knitwear is now carrying some Fab Funky Fibres, and they do. So if you're looking for it, and they have a very similar colorway, which I know because I bought it. I only bought one, so there may still be some, or they'll get more. But I love these. I started with this one. I got some black yarn. It's gray stripes, but it is black yarn for the heels, tufts, and toes, because I heels, cuffs, and toes, not heels, tufts, and coes. Where is my poor little brain today? I did not get a contrast. It wasn't offered a contrast skein with this. I just got a 50-gram one skein, which with the contrast is enough to give me full-size socks with nothing left over of the stripy, the 50 grams. I use the entire 50 grams and then the contrasts. If I do a 50-gram and 20-gram sock set, I have a little bit of contrast left over. I love these. So I started with the pink, and that got me up to the orange, and then I pulled from the other end of the ball, so I started with the other end was the blue, but if it goes up to the yellow, and then it's the bright green again, see, yellow, bright green, so the stripes go in opposite directions, but they kind of line up. Like the purples are fairly close to each other. So yeah, these are my first, but certainly not my last pair of Fab Funky Fibres. And these are my August socks for the SCR1 TNO Knitting Podcast Stripy Sock Knit Along. They are also part of the casual knit along on the AC Knitwear website for use every scrap, with instructions for a proper afterthought heel, which is why I've got this big gap here. I haven't woven the ends in yet. I've still got my ends. When I weave them in, I will just cinch that. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark fabric, but I will just cinch that hole up, and then there we go. The instructions on this were wedge toes. I did round toes because this one, the first one, was a little bit tight across here, and I was able to give myself a bit more heel depth by doing a round heel. Although I think I just picked up an extra stitch on either side because these ones aren't as tight, and I didn't pick up that extra stitch on either side. And that's really the only difference in how I did my two socks. But look at how beautiful they are. Oh my goodness. I'm so in love with these, and I'm going to wear the heck out of them with leggings and tights and anything I can to show off my gorgeous socks in my Mary Jane clogs, which will also show off most of the top here. Gorgeous. So happy with those. So happy with those. In fact, would you like to see the next pair of socks I'm casting on? This is the unwound skein, which is I Can Sing. It is the same colors and the same color sequence, but it is variable width stripes rather than these are all the same and some are bigger or smaller, but that's just, my gauge going around. I have skeined up. Now this is 150 gram all on its own. So this is two 50-gram sets that should match. So it starts with the pink here. And it goes through to yellow. One presumes, yep, it goes through to yellow on that side. I don't know which end of my ball I'm going to start with because the pink is on the outside. Anyway, these are for my husband, and because they are 50 grams, which is twice as much sock yarn as I got, I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm only going to do the contrast for the heel. So that will be my September socks, and it is also the pattern for Confident Knitting for September is garter stitch heels in a plain vanilla sock, though the sample is Fab Funky Fibres, and I may have that in my acquisitions yet to come because I am now obsessed with this yarn. This is going to be one of my, hello, it is my birthday, please get me a gift card for Fab Funky Fibres. Oh, Christmas, I would like some Fab Funky Fibres, please. Which I know a couple other people do. It is expensive. This is hand-dyed yarn. It is very difficult. It is very, very difficult. That is why it costs so much, because it took me hours. If you haven't heard that song yet, look it up. It's cute. So yes, my next socks will look basically exactly like those socks, but slightly different, because apparently we do his and her socks in my family. Look at how cute those, I think the other side looks a little better. Look at how cute those are. Oh my goodness. These are going to be a fork and delight. They really are. So these are my September socks for 2 of my knit-alongs. That's convenient. And it means I might have time to work on some other things. Just checking my notes really quick. Oh, speaking of Confident Knitting, that is probably the place to continue. The project for August, I did not finish. Ooh, and I'm halfway through a row. That's brilliant. This is the Lucious Shawl by Noma. Ooh, I just covered her name. Lode. She publishes as Bigger Than Life Knits. And her name is Noma, and I cannot read my own handwriting. It ends with an O and a U and something else, and I can't tell because my handwriting went squiggly, squiggly, squiggly. I apologize. But Bigger Than Life Knits. She does a lot of accessories and some jumpers, and she really likes cables. And this month's pattern is reversible cables. Here is one side. Here is the other side. If you are a knitter, you are impressed. If you are watching this because you like me and you don't really know much about knitting, you're like, that's nice. But cables are usually very one-sided, and by doing them in ribbing, they smush together, and all you can see is the pretty cable and not the wrong side of the other one. This is knit in fyberspates Vivacious DK. This is the colorway Spiced Plum. Ta-da! Spiced Plum with some light behind it. There we go. Is the sun coming through? Oh, no, it's just coming straight through the top. That's what's happening. This is a conservatory problem I cannot solve. This is the colorway Spiced Plum, which I ordered. I didn't get the kits for the summer months. This is the third one for the summer months, but I did order the yarn in the Spiced Plum colorway. And I am having a lot of fun knitting this. I also feel like I've worked on it. It's not a huge project. I mean, it needs to be blocked out. You can see like this here when it's stretched out and pinned to dry, it won't do that bloop thing. See? Bloop. I am 1.5 skeins in. I'm alternating colors. So I've got 2 strings hanging off. Not colors, I'm alternating skeins. See? 3rd skein, 2nd skein almost used up. And I feel like I have been working on this. I feel like it's not a huge project and it's fairly straightforward. And I don't know why, look at the camera, not at yourself. I don't know why I haven't made better progress on this. I really don't. I mean, I don't have that much further to go. It decreases along this edge, and then you get down to just the cable, and then their cable decreases down to a point to make an asymmetrical shawl that will block out a little bigger than it is right here. I just don't know. I really feel like I have worked on this. I mean, I showed you 2 pairs of socks, but only one of them was from this month. And I got half of that done before this month even started. I got off to such a good start with those socks because I was working on them, and the rainbow stripes. I was like, I have to keep knitting. And then I only finished the heel on the second one yesterday, the 31st. I don't know. It all just disappeared. So there's that one. The other whip I have, long-standing whip that I've been showing you every time, is my habitation throw in the Marvelous Monthly Minis. It's on a very long cable right now because I wanted to take a picture of it. The Marvelous Monthly Minis from Giddy Yarns. This is the July colors. They're the blue. Going up, I am getting 5 20-gram DK minis each month. So we started with January here with the blues and the teals, and then the teals into the purples, and then the purples into the pinks, and the pinks into the oranges, and the oranges into the red, purple, blue. This is halfway. This is 6 months, and it is a slight unblocked, unwashed, I don't know how much it's going to stretch. The I-cord, the knit on I-cord edge is really going to be the limiting factor. And I've tried to make it loose, but you know, sometimes things are more loose than other times. But it is about a tiny bit wider than my double bed. And it is intended to be like a couch blanket, a sofa blanket. So it's going to be lovely and scrumptious. It'll be like folded up on the back here or draped across my lap. It is so beautiful. I haven't worked on this in a while because I wanted to show you the halfway point. Halfway point. So excited. And I'm continuing to get the Marvelous Monthly Minis from Helen of Giddy Yarns. And because I was sitting on this waiting for it, I have, pardon my crinkling, I have the August colorways. No. July. This is up through June, which came out at the end of June, and actually I got it in July. That one was just a little bit late. So then this will be the next. It goes from the blues. This is July, which is 7. And then the August colors just came today. So if you are getting them and you haven't gotten yours yet, look away. I won't tell you what they are, but so it goes from there into this. So that's where it's headed now. And now that I've shown it to you, I can work on putting those colors in. So it's just as well that I have one pair of socks for my 2 main monthly knit-alongs, so I can hopefully catch up on my blanket. And it's really fast because it's just garter and the occasional eyelet. And oh, I'm so happy with this. I honestly don't have words for how much I am loving this blanket. And I never changed out of my autumnal bag that I made last year, which means I've come full circle around to it being autumn again. However, I've pretty much reached the limit on how much I can fit in this bag, so I'm going to need to move it to a larger, one of the other blanket bags I have made, and then I'll be able to use this for something else autumnal. So that's all the whips I have shown you lately. I have acquired a cat. Libby has come in here. Come here, baby. You gonna come see me? She's not gonna come see me. She's looking to go out the window. The window next to her cat tree is open. There is a cat flap that she walked past to get here, but she came here to go out the window. Hey, I just figured out why I'm feeling hungry, even though it's not quite lunchtime yet. I mean, it's almost lunchtime, but I've been feeling hungry for a while. And it's because I didn't actually eat breakfast. I have a breakfast bar in the morning when I first wake up. And then I do like school stuff with the kids and get them ready and get them out of the house and blah, 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 blah. And then like if it's a run day, I'll do my running. And today was a ride the bike to the shop day and replenish the groceries. She did come say hello. And then I came home and I didn't eat anything else. That's why I'm hungry, because I should have had at least a snack. I have not shown this project to you in a while. This is my Joan pullover by Crystal Nihu. Should have looked up how to pronounce that one. I think I say that every time. She's Crystal DK is her design name. This knit and drops Sky, which is an alpaca one, and it's got this little lace detail. I started this last winter and I largely did not work on it from about April because it got a bit too warm. But it is getting to the point where I'm thinking, oh, I mean, not today. Today's lovely and sunny. But the last couple of days, it's been like, oh, I could use a nice pullover to pull on. So yeah, I have regrets about knitting a black pullover that had like shoulder shaping and lace and armhole shaping, and the waist shaping wasn't too bad. I've done the decreases and I'm almost to the point where I need to do the increases again. But yeah, I have regrets about doing this in a fuzzy black yarn. It's a chainette ply, which meant my needles kept sticking. My needles are of course black because I am not always the cleverest monkey. One of the test knitters knit it in black and I thought, oh, that looks wonderful, I want to have it. I did finally change my stitch marker, my progress keeper. That's where I was last time I talked about it. So I have done a fair amount. I worked on it sometimes, like I'd do an inch or something, but then I just wouldn't show it because I hadn't done enough to make it worth it. I finally changed my stitch marker from the black cat that I had. Ugh, Jennifer, get it together. I did have the good sense to put my sleeves on neon. This one's not quite as neon, but really bright scrap yarn so that when I need to take them off, I can find my loops. That's about the only smart thing I've done with this jumper. Although I have done a really good job at ticking off exactly where I am in the pattern. So when I picked it up after 3 months and went, what am I doing? I read through the pattern. I'm like, oh, that's exactly where I am, and was able to pick it up and start knitting again. Ta-da! I'm very happy with this, other than the fact that I keep making my own life difficult. I'm making bad choices with that one. It's just there was like a lot of short row shaping to get the shoulder started and everything. Black was not a good choice for that particular pullover. Am I caught up on things I'm working on? Come here, princess. Come here. Do you want to say hello? Wow. Let's say hello. Can I pick you up and bring you over? Look. No, you have to let go of the blanket. Look at this beautiful baby. My beautiful baby is not interested in being podcast cat. Oh, don't. Sorry. Don't know what's going on there. I have some fun acquisitions, and the first one is, this is the August Club, the August yarn pack, the autumn yarn pack for Confident Knitting. The spring one was in a bright pink bag, so this is a different color. That's nice. And it came with Fab Funky Fibres. This one has a contrast heel. This is Walking on Sunshine. I don't know what this colorway looks like, except it's going to have a lot of yellow. It looks like it's yellow between these cute stripy colors. I have not seen this knit up anywhere, but this is the alternative colorway for the month, which is the Fab Funky Fibres Walking on Sunshine. But I'm not doing this one right away because my husband wants his pair of neon bright rainbow socks, and who can blame him? And then what else is in here? There is some Jamieson and Smith Shetland 2-ply. There are multiples of some of the colors, but I think this is all the colors. And this is, the patterns have all come out today, so this is going to be for mittens, mitts, fingerless mitts, as I'm about to say a hat, but that's Winter's project. Mosaic knitting fingerless mitts. And then there's a whole bunch. Again, there's more yarn, but I think this is all the colors. This is to make a wrap in modular knitting. And that is by Emily K. Williams, my favorite. Although obviously it's not my favorite because I have so many favorites. But she is a favorite, and not just because she is my friend here in Inverness, who I sometimes even get to see. But yes, so I've got all these fabulous yarns to use in the next 3 months. If I finish my socks, I might have time for a second pair of socks. It could happen. I don't know if I'll knit these for me or for Chris, because Chris is more of a yellow person than I am. But I like socks. So that is my confident knitting pack for August. No, not August. For autumn, that's the A word I'm looking for. These are still on sale and in the other colorway. And today they just launched the winter packs. So I don't think I need the winter packs. She said, I don't think I need it. But I've said that before. Let me just think. Winter be November, December, January? No. January, December, January, February? I'm trying to think if it would be a Christmas present or if I would need it before then. I have more acquisitions. This was an acquisition heavy period in my life. Next up is some Ripples Crafts color. Helen of Ripples Crafts came to the end of her stock of Oldeny. These are Scottish landmarks. I should probably figure out what they are. I got the purple and the silver. These may or may not be the same colors I have used to knit another jumper in a sporty DK weight and a shawl in the two of them together. This is for a 4-ply jumper. If you know what you like, fill your wardrobe with it. I have a pattern in mind. I need to at least finish my black Joan before I can cast on a new jumper. But it's got a color work yoke, that's the silver, kind of a boxy cropped shape, so it will do with I'm wearing my dungarees. I love my dungarees. I ordered another pair of dungarees. They had a sale on the whole site, even the new stuff. So I ordered another pair of the dungarees in black. So in love with my dungarees. So crop jumpers that I can kind of wear under it so I can go to the toilet, just, drop the straps and go pee and not have to take off your jumper and then way too much work for me. Too much hassle. Was there a squeak? We have a new cat in our garden. It is ours because we've been feeding it, and she has decided, I think it's a she, she's declared her undying love for us, but she doesn't come in. Anyway, yes, I'm really into kind of cropped, not too oversized jumpers for wearing under dungarees. That is currently my jam. That is what I want out of life. This just came yesterday, I have a book. The Confident Knitting book should be here tomorrow. A little bird may have told me that mine went in the post today. So if I get this all together, I don't know, because I was also thinking next time I podcast, I could just talk about it. This came in the post yesterday, which is Woolly Wormhead's first traditionally published hat book. I believe it originally came out in Estonian or something, and then they did an English one. It's not even they translated it into English because, you know, she originally did all the patterns in English and they had to translate into Estonian for the book. Look at all these gorgeous hats. I have a lot of these. I have been collecting Woolly Wormhead hats for some time. This says for her, but I can tell you, like, my husband has that hat. That was one of the mystery knit along hats that I did. My husband has that one. Although I wear it sometimes, it's really nice. So yeah, I think they're just divided according to the gender of the model rather than who could wear it. And then more quote unquote masculine hats. And fun hats. All of these are sized from child to grown up, baby to big, as Tin Can Knit says. And there is, where is it? There is a chart. If you were knitting a hat for someone else, this is kind of how big their people in this age group's head tend to be. I really want to knit this one, which I think is the Camden hat. I have it in my library, my digital library, but now I have a physical copy of the book. And conveniently, the sample, oh, it's Erica. The sample is knit in fyberspates vivacious DK, which is what I'm knitting my shawl in. So if I run out of yarn, the shawl is very yarn hungry. And if you're off on gauge, which I am, you might run out of yarn. That's even the same color, the spiced plum. If I wind up needing to order one more skein of yarn, then I will have enough left over to knit the hat. Probably without the brim. I think the brim is super cute. I've never put a brim in a knit hat. I know there are instructions just for cutting one out of cardboard, I think. Oh, it says plastic. I shouldn't be reading this while I'm podcasting with you, but I am just so excited. It came yesterday, and yeah, it is so nice to hold and to physically have. Libby has come running back inside. And I like supporting knitting designers. It's a cute hat. It's full of cute hats. It is a good book. It is, her instructions are always so clear. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy. So that is my book acquisitions. I have more yarn. I ordered some more Bumbling Yarns. I apologize for the crinkliness. I will try to take things out gently. They're at least out of their tissue paper, so. Okay, first up, I got the fourth two-striping sock club. So, oh, excuse me, don't fall and make a noise. These were the first ones. These are the fourth ones, and you could be forgiven for thinking, oh, they're purple again, which is, I admit, my first thought. I like purple though, so that was a selling point. But these ones aren't so much purple as they are blue and pink, and then when they cross over, you get the purple. If you watch Laura's podcast, or I think look on her Instagram, The Lonely Knitter, she has a pair she is knitting up, and you can really see how it's a lot more pink and blue and only a little bit of the purple. I could not decide between the two contrasts, so I got both, and I'm thinking I'm going to alternate. So pink, blue, like pink cuff and toes, blue heel, blue cuff and toes, pink heel, maybe? I don't know. But I love minis, so I really wanted these two minis, especially because I need pink for another blanket that I'm wanting to work on, or slightly working on, but thinking about pulling out again and doing slightly differently. My northeasterly blanket. I just haven't committed to an idea yet. I mean, it looks like I have because I've knit 2 stripes, but yarn pulls out. So yeah, I've got the contrasts. I love them. They are so cute. They'll go back in the bag. Apologies for some light crinkling. And she also had a mini set. Ta-da! I love me some minis. And then this green it's really green. It's coming out kind of gray, but it is not. It is more like this color and then into blue, not into so much gray. But this is a DK merino, probably, a sail yarn. And I was thinking it will probably be really good for one of these hats. If I do not, for example, need to order more yarn to finish my lustrous shawl, this will make a good hat color. It's a bit petrol-y and a bit tealy, and now there is a fly in here because I have the window open. And that is all of my acquisitions and everything. Oh, I have one more both acquisition and new cast on. Over the summer, we went to Nairn Beach with the kids, and there's a little yarn shop in Nairn, and we stopped by on the way back to the train station, and I got 3 balls of Batik Swirl from Stylecraft. It is 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and I have started another corner to corner blanket, this one for my younger child. But somehow, despite the fact that I only worked on this project in one spot, my hook went missing. So this is a metal hook, and my hands hurt using metal hooks, so I haven't worked on it. But that is my final acquisition and thing. I need to get this is my only other 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. I need to find the one I've lost or get a new one so I can work on this again. And that is all the knitting stuff. Hello again. My husband came in, we had lunch together, and hopefully now I will not be so hungry. I was so hungry. In fact, I'm still hungry, but I don't eat so much that my stomach hurts. So I'm gonna wait for a bit. And then if I want, I can have more food in a bit, because with the increased exercise I've been doing, I've been hungrier, and then I've been eating more, and then I've been having indigestion because my tummy's like, oh, that was too much food. I'm like, but I want the energy, and it's like, nope, too much. So I think I need to have more smaller meals is how that's gonna go, which is more than you wanted to know about my lunch. It was really good. I had pasta shells, the big ones, with spicy sausage. So good. And green beans. Sorry, I have just started the sock for this month, and the confident knitting pattern starts at the cuff and has you work down, but I very much want to use all of this. So I think I will do it toe up. So I'm doing a small cast on, and and starting with the yellow. I asked my husband if he would prefer pink toes or yellow toes, and he was not sure, so we've decided I will do one sock one direction and one sock the other direction. He says no one's going to be able to see them anyway, but that's not true because he walks around the house in socks and slippers with his brightly colored socks. Lunchtime, he was sat right over there, and he had his West Yorkshire Spinners Mojito socks on. These are the shop bought ones. I bought him a whole bunch of those at one point when he was like, I need more socks. And I was like, well, socks for me right now, so here you go. I bought you socks, which they're nice. They're just, they're not hand knit nice. I have done some sewing. I don't have any sewing to show you because I'm not wearing it, but I have a picture which hopefully I can put in here. Internet magic. If not, I will add it at the end. Last time I mentioned I had made 2 Tilly in the Button Lotta dresses. I made a Lotta top using, fresh tea, using the Lotta bodice pattern. And then I added, it's like 2 inches. I added a little bit of length to the hem, and I just made it as a top in a stripy jersey that looked fun. Bold, going for more bold things in my life. And I made it as a crop so I could wear it under my dungarees. Well, it is still just a touch short, especially in the back. It doesn't quite stay tucked, under the back. So it lets a little bit of a breeze through, which tends to be a bit colder than I want to wear it. But otherwise I'm happy with it. And the next one I do, and I am planning another one, I will just give myself a longer, just make the shirt, like 4 inches longer than the pattern calls for. And I think that will work nicely for giving me a length that I can wear under my dungarees. And that'll be my rainbow heart fabric that I bought that is so wonderful. And my kids took one look at it and both were like, I want something out of that. And then I went back to the wee fabric shop where I bought it and they had half a meter left. But Minerva Fabric sent out a, upcoming patterns or fabrics for pre-order, and the rainbow heart was one of them. So I may or may not. The thing is, it's rainbow hearts on a white background, which until Catherine my 4-year-old gets just a tiny bit better at not schlubbing her food all over and wiping her hands on her clothes. I'm like, you have a napkin, use the napkin. I don't really want to make white rainbow heart things for them, but we will see. Yes, there's that. So that's pretty much the only sewing I have done. Sewing hasn't been a great idea. Now it sounds like there are 2 bees. Sewing hasn't been a great idea for the same reason that I just pulled out the wrong needle. I haven't been able to knit a fox or do the podcast. It's just I need a little more time and a little more space. But hopefully that is a thing that is starting to happen in my life for the next, touch wood, the next year of school. May it all be able to happen in person. And may I get a good routine for getting work done. See, the problem is the cable is twisted over. So I grabbed the one that looked like it was in back, but it was actually the one that's in front. Grrr. It happens. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen with a certain amount of frequency. You'd think I would learn. I have not learned. Okay, so that's it on the sewing front, although I have bought fabric, but if I showed you all my fabric, then this would be forever, and I don't sew as quickly. So I need to make up a few things, and then I can say, look, this is what I got, and it'll be great, because I've just bought a couple of things and then not had time to sew. I'm doing that thing where you buy books because you want to have time to read. I buy stuff because I want to have time to do. I can't buy the time, but I can buy the supplies. Anyway, in garden news, we have basically become overrun with weeds. In my food garden, my vegetable garden, we are doing well on the cucumbers. I trimmed back the tomatoes, but I think I had the wrong kind of tomatoes for trimming back. Or something else is happening because they don't look the happiest. But they weren't very happy before, which is why I trimmed them back. But we've had green tomatoes and that's it. We've never had a successful tomato crop that turned red. But lots of cucumbers right now. Peas basically died. Broccoli all came at once and had lots of wee beasties in it. Last year I planted purple sprouting broccoli and it was really nice. And this year I had regular broccoli and it's not as nice. We need purple sprouting broccoli. Then you can just eat some of it and it keeps doing more, and you don't get, because it's not the flower all clumped together. You don't get as many wee beasties in it. Still sad the peas all died. I've gotten some beans, our French beans, no, runner beans. No, I don't even remember what kind of beans we have. I've got beans and they're purple. They're probably purple beans. They have pretty purple flowers and then they have purple pods, and when you cook them, they turn green again. I've gotten a handful of those. I don't think our squash is going to come of anything. It's not looking great. And then the most exciting news is we have a new to us cat. A cat showed up in our garden. And I don't mean just like, started hanging out at our house sometimes. We have a compost pile in the corner over there next to the woods. And the cat was eating the food waste out of the compost pile. And the thing about our compost is we don't put any animal products in it because I feed the crows. So like if the kids, leave half a chicken nugget or, something like that, something goes past its use by, it doesn't go in the compost, I feed it to the crows. And there's a chance we have mice or something in there, but it wasn't hunting, it was eating human food waste, like noodles out of the compost. And we're like, oh, that's not okay, baby. So we put out some cat food for it. And then we bought a cheaper cat food. This cat, this one, Libby, had stones at one point, and it was very expensive, and she was acting like it was very painful. So we have expensive stone reducing food to prevent kidney stones and bladder stones and whatever all, stones. We just bought some regular cat food for the outside cat and have been putting, if we see her in the garden, we put some food out because, again, we feed the crows and there's seagulls in the area. I'm always running them off, trying to get the suet balls and stuff. So we were just putting food out when we saw her, which was fairly consistently around dinner time. And then she started showing up in the morning, and our other cat, our ginger kitty, the one who's like twice this size, and Ginger, he's a bit of a bully, and he also has food insecurities, and he was really upset that we were feeding her, and so he kept trying to run her off. So I was out there, and if I tried to get close to the cat, she was like, oh no, I have to run away. But she let me get close so I could stand between her and Oliver. I glanced down and she had left, I was looking at Oliver. I glanced down and she had left her food bowl and come over and was standing next to me. So I reached down and she started headbutting my hand and purring a lot and wanting scritches. That was the beginning of a very loving relationship with this cat, who is absolutely just an angel. She is so friendly and so happy to see us. And anytime we go out in the garden, she has a shrub she's been hanging out in, which is kind of just over that way. And if you go out in the garden, she comes out and she runs over and does headbutts. And I mean, this cat is just so sweet. Like, I take food out for her and she watches very carefully while I put the food in the bowl we've set outside. And she watches to make sure the food's in, and then comes over for scritches before she goes eat. She comes over for a nuzzle and happy. And our ginger kitty, this morning, when she was having, my husband had given her breakfast before I got up, because she'd been sat on the windowsill waiting for him when he came out. Then when I had my tea and came out, Oliver had just finished eating some of her food, and she was crouched, like 2 feet back, but hadn't run off, didn't leave. And so then he turned around and like sauntered off very casually, not at all bothered. So I think he feels he's proved something. But he has also spent a lot more time recently following me around the house and meowing until I pick him up and cradle him in my arms like a baby, which is something we used to do, but he hasn't really asked for recently. So I was saying to Chris that he's trying to make sure I'm not going to replace him, that he is still my baby in my heart. I can only hope that it's one of those stories where someone moved house and the cat got out and got lost and they can't find it. Because if someone just abandoned this cat, then I will have hatred in my heart for forever. Last night she was sat on the windowsill, so I went outside to give her a goodnight cuddle, and like I was scratching her head and she lay down, and she just lay down on my arm, and I lay down in the grass next to her and was just scratching the side of her head, and she's so happy. Anyway, I have just finished the second week. Yesterday I finished the second week of the NHS Couch to 5K app that I'm listening to. Hannah of Corner to Craft and Amy Florence of Stranded Dye Works have both variously mentioned that they are doing Couch to 5Ks just for the heck of it. I think they've both done it before. And I thought, well, it's not, much of a difference between going for a 3-mile walk to doing this Couch to 5K thing. So I thought I would download it and see how I got on. And I was honestly surprised. I thought when I went for my first run that I would absolutely be dying, that it would just flatten me. And it was certainly hard, but it was doable. So I have kept on with it, and I have bought some running leggings with little pockets for my phone. I bought an arm cuff, but I think it's too small because most running gear is not built for people who could be described as round in quite the way that I can. And yeah, I got expensive, well, not expensive, but I got expensive for me running shoes, and I've been keeping with it. I've done it every other day, school days, and it hurts and I'm sore, but it also feels good. So we'll see if I can keep on with it when it actually gets like cold, and if it's raining or other unpleasant things that would make me reconsider my life choices. So far, the weather has been cool, but not cold for my runs, and clear, or overcast, but it hasn't been rainy or anything awful. So we will see how I get on. But for now, I'm having fun doing it. I'm enjoying it. Is there anything else? My mother came to visit, which I mentioned. We mentioned it was like a Friday or Saturday call. Nicola Sturgeon had just announced on the Monday we were going to be going to Beyond Zero, which meant our borders were fairly relaxed and stuff like that. And my mother was on a plane and here in Scotland the following Sunday, a week later. So she stayed for 2 weeks. We didn't do anything. She's just been home, and we went swimming once with Catherine gave her a morning off school and we went swimming so Grandma could do her exercises. And otherwise, you know, she just walked there and back to pick the kids up from school in the afternoon with me and played board games with them and stuff like that and stayed home. And it was nice. The kids are really happy to see her and sad when she left. And yeah, it was a good visit. Although I think it would have been better if it hadn't come off after 7 weeks of me 7 weeks of me spending all of my time with my children. So yeah, that was a bit, I was just like, I just want a little time to be the only person in my house and not have to worry and be able to do things like my podcast. So yeah, that's pretty much everything so far. Hopefully next time I see you, I will still be running. You can't call it a run. It's, you know, a shambling jog. That's fine. My shambling jog is improving. And I'll have more than a little sock toe. Thank you very much for joining me. If you made it this far, then hey! I don't know why I said that. That sounded really weird. Excuse me, little hiccup. Yeah, thank you very much, and I will talk to you next time. Bye. Hello.